Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be talking about false ego and judgment versus discernment and intellect. I've probably spoken about it before, but I've gotten a little bit more depth of understanding on about it in the last day or so. So I'm going to be talking about that. So let me start from the beginning. There is a difference between feeling. Um, between awareness, between discernment, between seeing what somebody is or where I am or where somebody else is and what their fears are or what my fears are versus judgment of either self or others. Judgment meaning I am better than them or they are better than me. The judgment meaning putting somebody down, either myself or the other person. Discernment comes from intellect. Discernment comes from awareness. Discernment comes from mindfulness. And judgment comes from false ego. Judgment comes from this need to hierarchize somebody. The judgment comes from this need to make myself, my ego puffed up, or my ego, it's both the same side, two sides of the same coin. When I'm saying that my ego is puffed, like when I'm saying that I am better than somebody else, my ego is like, flared up. Or when I'm saying that the other person is better than me, then I'm putting myself down, I'm beating myself up, I'm feeling shame. And it's the same thing, like I'm not good, it's the same, it's an ego as well. It's saying I'm not good enough, I should be more than I am, but I'm not good enough, so there's something wrong with me. So it's still the same thing, it's ego. I should be the best, I should be better than everyone else, and if I'm not better than everyone else, there is something wrong with me. So it's also ego, it's shame, and it's this, it comes from this desire, this feeling, this need that I should be better than everybody else. So judgment is something that we do. It's very insidious. I don't know how to pronounce that. In our lives, it is extremely prevalent. We don't even realize we're doing it, and we're doing it non-stop. And I've had glimpses of where I have felt, oh, I'm not feeling judgmental right now. So it's easy to intellectually not feel judgmental, right? It's easy to, but we are just continuously, that's where shame comes in. That's why we have all of these issues that we have that stem from shame and fear and unworthiness and unlovability and all of that. That comes from this ego, that comes from this belief that I should be better, and if I'm not better, then there is something wrong with me. And so therefore we're continuously subconsciously comparing ourselves with other people, and we're trying to figure out, are they better than us or are we better than them? And if they are better than us, then we feel shame and we want to be better, and if we are better, then we feel pride, like, oh my goodness, look, I've grown this, I've outgrown this, and they have not yet outgrown this. To get rid of this judgment is is very, very difficult. That I think that is one of the core concepts of spirituality, of attaining God, is to get rid of this judgment. Respect. So this line is something that kind of triggered this, that I'd heard somewhere. Well, I'd heard a different line, but then I kind of enhanced it. Respect other people the way you would respect the person you respect the most. So take the person you absolutely totally respect the most, and take the person you absolutely least respect, the one you have the most judgment for, and respect that person. Get to the place, and I've been working on that. And I have found one person at least where I have been able to really respect him to the place where I respect the person I respect the most. Because, and so, okay, so the way I worked, I was trying to figure out angles, how can I do that? How can I learn how to do that? So the first thing that I did was I realized is that when I have links of really cool links that I see, really cool videos, really cool, discussions, lectures or something like that, then I send it to a few people, but I don't send it to everyone, because I'm like, oh, they're not going to understand, they're not going to be interested. But there's a judgment there when I'm saying that. Like, this person is not smart enough to understand, or this person is not interested enough, or this person does not have an open mind enough, or something. There is some judgment there that I'm not sending it. And then, so when I realized that, I was like, okay, I'm going to send this link to everyone. So I sent that link to everyone. And then afterwards, I asked people, did you like this? People that I don't normally send to, who don't necessarily respond. I asked them, would you like me to continue to send these links? Was this useful for you, or do you want me to stop? And some said yes, some said no. So, but that way I got to know. So then the judgment went away, or at least, like, it was, I mean, I could have gone into this thing like, oh, I knew that, I knew it, like, of course they're not interested, or of course they're not. So there maybe for a moment there was that, but then I realized that it's okay. They have different interests, and they have different things that they're good at. They have different strengths, and this is not something that they're interested in, and that's okay. But when I'm sending, at least now I know who to send to better, and I'm not creating these barriers based on my inner judgment. The next step that I figured out was I took one person and then I was like, okay, how do I respect this person the way I respect the person the most? And the way, like, for what comes naturally to me is appreciation and seeing the strengths in others. And I've been good at that. Like, I'm really, I know how to do that. But there was still judgment. So it was like, how do I get to the place where I truly, truly, truly can respect that person? So I've managed to get, so I've decided that I'm going to take, every time I'm going to take the person I respect the least, and I'm going to work, or at least somebody who's bothering me right now, even if it's not the least, but if somebody who's bothering me right now, somebody who's bugging me, somebody who's gotten under my skin, and somebody who's like, so I'm going to take that person, and I'm going to find a way to respect that person in the way that I respect the person the most. So that way I will be able to work on my judgment for that person, because I'm going to be looking very specifically for what is incredible about that person. That's how I am working through it, is what is really, really, really incredibly amazing about this person. And then get to a place where I'm not feeling shame that I don't have that, right? Get to a place where I'm just honoring that. And this takes time. That's why I'm saying I got some glimpses over the last few days, because this is not easy. It's very difficult, and it takes effort, and it takes time to get to that kind of understanding, knowingness, not just understanding intellectually, but like really knowingness. So now I've found with this one person, at least I've managed to, I mean, this was not a least to a most kind of thing. This was a good to a most kind of thing. But I found that, like, I am just blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. Now that I looked, and I carefully, very, very carefully looked, I'm blown away by just how much that person has. That's just genius, like, absolutely incredible. So yes, so this process of pushing myself to respect everyone the same as I respect the person I respect the most is bringing, okay, so yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about is, where does this come from in the Shastras, in the scriptures, in the Hindu scriptures? It's well, I'm sure it's there in many places, but it says, give all respect to others, expect none in return. Or basically, drop all of your false ego. And this is crucial, drop all of your false ego. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was somebody who came on earth 500 years ago, and he was the one who talked about how to use the Harinam Sankirtan, which is the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He talked about using that to, so we have like 30 miles or something of, like, we let's say that our soul is a mirror, and there's a 30-mile long layer of dust on the mirror, and we want to clear that out, and personal growth is excellent. It's necessary, I would say, to clear out that dust to some extent as well, right? What I'm doing right now with this respect journey is personal growth. And the chanting of the holy names, which is this Mahamantra, is also, it's one of the ways. It's necessary. I think they both go hand in hand. So he talks about the chanting of the holy name in order to clear that dust out, so that we can access the purity of our heart. So the only thing that he has written, his biography has been written by one of his disciples, but the only thing that he has written is 8 verses, 8 shlokas in Sanskrit, talking about and glorifying and talking about how important the Harinam Sankirtan is, which is this Mahamantra, chanting of the Mahamantra. In that, the third verse, the third line, he said, let me see if I can, um, Amanin manadena. Amanin manadena. So man means pride. Amanin. So and manadena. Man means honor. And dena is to give. So to give honor, give all honor to others. Amanin means drop all sense of pride, false pride, drop all sense of false ego. So yeah, what he's saying is that you need to, we like, in order for us to get to purity, in order for us to get to God, we need to have a huge, humongous amount of humility. And the way to get to that humility is to drop all false ego and to give all respect to others. So basically, not expect any respect from people. We don't need it. We get to a place where our consciousness is high enough that we don't need it. At the moment we do need it. Like if somebody is taking advantage of me, I will set boundaries, and I'll be as honoring and whatever is possible, but I'll set boundaries. I'll be like, this is not going to be something I'll accept in my life, so I'll just walk away or I'll do something. um, but at some point, none of all of this will be necessary. I mean, if we're just giving all respect to Krishna, then people will automatically, I think the boundaries will just automatically be set. We will not need to set boundaries. We will not need to think about it. We'll not feel bad also if somebody's. So yeah, I mean, as we grow, we stop feeling bad about things that used to hurt us earlier, right? Because we understand that this is not about us, this is about the other person. It's got nothing to do with us. And the judgment drops. So as we drop our judgment, as we increase our humility, we start to become much more loving and much more accepting of others, because we understand the underlying thing. Okay, this person is at a stage of life right now where they um, need maybe less intimacy than I do, right? And maybe just the fact that I need intimacy is maybe they're ahead of me or whatever. So I don't know the truth enough right now to be able to say, which one the higher spot is, or which one the higher place is. But I am going to understand that we're where we are, and we're both working towards God, and I will do whatever I can to help this person. And if the person is helping me, I will receive that as a gift from God, as love from God, because everything is just coming from God. Okay. I hope I managed to clear up some things instead of confusing it further. I'm wondering if I managed to only confuse it further. Um, I think this is something that we have to experience for ourselves, those glimpses. Like I'm not sure how to transmit those glimpses. I'm trying to transmit those glimpses to you so that you can feel them and so that you can understand them. And I don't know how to do that. But I guess as I become stronger and stronger in it, my transmission will also be stronger and stronger. And hopefully that'll be a little bit clearer. And hopefully this helped as well. Okay. Wish you a day filled with personal spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.